Hello, hi. This is weird. I'm in a new place today. I'm in my kitchen. I thought I'd try something different just to mix things up a bit. This feels kind of weird. I'm kind of in my routine back over there, and I know what I'm doing. This is all new and different, isn't it? But hello. God, I'm awkward. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different again. And do you remember forever ago when I made a video on multi-level marketing and the problems with it, the dangers of it, why it's a bad thing, why a lot of people lose money? So that was quite a kind of, I almost want to say like academic-y one or like more informed one. After I switched from biomed, my degree was in business. So this is kind of like one of my other areas of expertise and stuff that I know about. So if you're interested in that kind of thing and understanding what multi-level marketing is and why it's a bad thing, I definitely recommend you go check out that video. This is more of just a follow-up to that, and we're going to be looking at some horror stories from people who've been involved in MLMs, people who've lost things through MLMs, or people who have been targeted by MLMs. The idea of this video is we're going to be sharing some posts from Reddit, and basically it's to look at some real-life examples of people who've been hurt by MLMs, whether via losing money or people in MLMs using dodgy or manipulative or just outright inappropriate tactics to target potential consumers and new MLM members. Does that make any sense? I'm probably rambling. I haven't really planned this. Let's just jump into this and have a look at a few posts, okay? The first post is a person ranting on Facebook, and it reads, "I need to vent for a minute. Long and short of it, I've been getting messages from this woman who looked ever so familiar trying to sell me her MLM scheme. I couldn't put my finger on who she was, so I was being polite. Turns out it's the woman who was handling my ultrasounds during my miscarriage last year. Am I being dramatic or is it completely invasive? I feel exposed AF, and she had just the thing for infertility. I could honestly get violent right now." So we have a woman here who has been through something traumatic. She's very vulnerable. She's had a miscarriage, and the medical professional she trusted to look after her during that time has completely thrown that trust out of the window and said, I am going to use this as an opportunity to market my MLM products to you and try and sell you and try and get you as part of my team. Try and tell you that I have just the product that's going to help you, and then try and get you selling them in the future. This is a weird one, and it might seem like an outlier, but there are so many of these stories. People involved in MLMs just seem to forget all social boundaries. And I think part of it is to do with the very cult-like behavior of the people higher up and the people running these MLMs. They definitely push this narrative of do whatever it takes to sell and get people on your team. And it's very damaging and very harmful, especially because the people they're selling to are usually their family and friends. It can definitely damage those relationships. But in this case, it also forces people to seek out relationships with people they don't necessarily know. And in this case, they're breaking a lot of trust and boundaries, and it's just completely inappropriate. As someone said in the comments on Reddit, this is effed up. That woman should report the MLM to her employer ASAP. I don't think they will appreciate her doing this grossly unethical stuff and exposing them to possible legal trouble as well. Another big problem with MLMs is that it definitely targets mothers, people with young children, by saying that it's going to provide them an opportunity to work from home or work while they look after their kids and that kind of thing. And this next story is an example of mothers in particular definitely being taken advantage of, or at least attempted to. This person says, "I got duped. Yesterday I took my daughters to a free kids event that was being advertised on my town's Facebook page for weeks. There weren't many details on what exactly it was going to include, but it just said there would be lots of fun activities for kids of all ages. I figured, why not? So I walked over with my kid in her stroller in the hot heat, only to discover a LuLaRoe tent at the very entrance. I just shrugged it off and continued into the venue. There was one small bounce house and a bunch of tables set up with every MLM business I've ever heard of. No games, no entertainment, just Arbonne, Herbalife, It Works, Thrive, etc., etc. Nothing for kids at this free kids event." So like I say, a big target for MLMs is mothers. And so running these kinds of dodgy events, they're just trying to target, again, some of the most vulnerable and easy to target people, I think. And so these kinds of events it is completely unethical and unfair. You're trying to say you're offering something for the kids, but you're not. You're just trying to sucker in the mothers, and it's not fair. This next post is an example of someone who is not making any money from MLMs. That's the problem. A lot of them you have to pay to get involved in. You have to pay for a starter kit. It's anywhere between like $50 and $500 or even more. You have to pay for your inventory up front and then sell it on to people. And it's just, this is where they get you, and this is where you end up losing a lot of money. So this person says that one of her friends posted this on, I think this might be an Instagram story, I'm not sure. And the caption on Reddit was, "She's always complaining about being broke. She's been with Young Living for months peddling her stuff. This is what she has to show for it." And the Instagram story is her saying, "A surprise check from Young Living, my first!" And it's for $48.38. Months of work for $48. And she's probably had to spend a lot of her own money to get this back. She's probably still at a loss at this point. Yeah. The next product shows how it often manipulates people who aren't managing to sell products or who can't afford to buy the starter kits and stuff. So a lot of the time, it's really difficult to sell products because you're selling to people who don't want to be sold to, your family and friends and that sort of stuff. If they want to buy stuff, they'll go to a shop or look online. They don't want to go on Facebook or be targeted at parties or when you're out for coffee and things like that. So a lot of people do struggle to sell this stuff. And the people higher up in the MLMs often turn around and be like, well, you're not working hard enough. You're not doing it right. You're doing it wrong. It's all your fault. And they try and make people feel guilty for not being able to sell this stuff, even though often, again, their products are absolute crap. Another thing they do is they try and make people feel bad for not being able to afford to buy inventory up front. And they have this narrative of you need to spend money to make money and spend, and you'll make more in the future, honestly. And this next post is an example to show how people end up in so much debt because people are pushing things like this. Because they often target people who are already struggling with money and so therefore kind of vulnerable and desperate. This post says, "When you're already robbing Peter to pay Paul, how do you come up with extra money to start your business? This is the question I get every single day when I talk to women about getting ahead. Clean someone's house, babysit, borrow, put it on a credit card, rob Peter again, one more time. I mean, let's be serious. Paying for drinks each week or cable each month isn't allowing you to make an extra $500 every single month. So I think a little 1 month sacrifice is a no-brainer. You cannot sit here and tell me that you don't have time, you don't have money, you're sick and tired of struggling. You're obviously not sick and tired enough, or else you would do anything you can to get out of the situation you're in. Our world has become so used to not enjoying where they are in life, but in doing nothing about it. Why even complain then? There is no risk, except there totally is. Worst case scenario, you sign up, get free products for your first month, and decide to stop. Work from home or phone. Create your own schedule. Eligible for $10,000 to $25,000 bonuses. Unlimited weekly $100 bonuses. Get paid 3 different ways. DM Adventure for more info. It's so manipulative, this whole idea of well, if you're struggling for money, it's your fault, you're not doing enough. Like I say, some of the startup fees to join these MLMs are ridiculous. And when you can't afford it, they just tell you put it on a credit card, you'll definitely earn it back, and you probably don't. And that's how lots of people end up in even more debt by getting involved in MLMs. Some of the comments say this even more. This person says, if there's no risk, why'd I have to rob Peter or put it on a credit card? Give whatever crap it is you want me to flog for free, and then we'll both reap the rewards. What's that? No? Oh! So not that risk-free, is it? Another commenter said, I think the thing that gets me most is to put it on a credit card. Anyone with 2 ounces of financial common sense would almost never tell you to put something you can't afford on a credit card. Yes. Yet these financially free business owners are the first ones to give you wallet-crippling advice. Financial freedom through passive income is very possible and something to strive for, but MLMs cannot and will not deliver that. Yes, thank you. The next post is an example of how, again, targeting mums who they can kind of almost guilt into getting involved, or they're quite vulnerable because they probably need some extra money, they might be quite bored, often they want to get involved for the social aspects of things, so that's why they target mothers. So this is another example of that, but it's also showing how kind of cliquey a lot of MLM groups are, and how you're either part of the group or out of the group, and they can get quite bitchy, it gets quite mean. This is a well-documented thing, and this story is just another example of it. It says, we moved to a new neighbourhood 2 months ago. I joined the neighbourhood Facebook page and was quickly invited to a mums group that met once a week. I'm a new mum and was super excited to bond with others and meet neighbours. I went to the group night that week, a few blocks over, and was so excited to make friends. We had a blast. They were all so sweet. Each of the 15 mums asked for my number and my social media accounts, which I found a bit odd. Just when I told them I was about to head home, after about an hour after arriving, they all stopped and almost looked panicked. They had a special new mum gift for me. One of the mums ran back and grabbed a gift basket full of goodies from local small businesses. What a great welcome gift! I made it home and looked through it. It was full of MLM products, either brochures, business cards, or samples from doTERRA, I never know how to pronounce that one. Mary Kay, Young Living, RNF, can't think what that one is off the top of my head. Unique, Pampered Chef, Monat, I think, Scentsy, Lip Sense, and a few others. Yuck. Why are they so hard to pronounce, some of these? The next morning I got a text from the head mum of the group asking what I thought of the basket and explained that it was a small business mums group. In order to be supportive of the group, she asked which business I'd like to support by joining a team or buying product. I explained that I don't support MLMs and how they've ruined lives of some of my closest friends. That day she blocked me from Facebook and deleted me from the Facebook mums group. Whenever I see one of the mums out walking, I'm ignored. I'm now part of a real mums group. Most of the members had to go through the first mums group to get here. No Huns allowed. So at least this one has a happy ending. Again, speaking of happy endings, this next story is more of a happy one because it's someone getting out of MLMs and kind of stepping away from it and reclaiming her, independence back and her financial security back and finally getting out of debt. It says, I was a Hun. I greatly regret bugging my friends and family with my unique BS. I tried not to be overbearing, but I look back and I know I alienated people. When I started, I charged a bunch of products to a credit card for on-hand stock that I was never able to sell. I racked up $3,000 of debt on that credit card. I couldn't afford the payments on it and paid it late so many times. I damaged my credit with that credit card. It's been 4 years since I stopped selling that crap, and I've just now finally paid off that card. The account was even closed a couple of years back due to late payments. For the last year, I've worked very hard to pay extra every month and pay the balance down. I'm finally free of that stressor. I regret ever hearing of Unique. I regret spending my time and money. I regret pushing people away with my book of face posts. I regret it all. A huge F you, Unique. You ruined so many things. I despise you with every fibre of my being. Which is just a kind of typical, true cautionary tale. This is how it's so easy for people to get into so much debt, and they don't make the money back. At least very, very rarely. And the final post I want to read to you is another one that's kind of like a warning one, and it's kind of warning signs of MLMs and some of the problems with them and some things to look out for. This person said on Facebook, if your uplines are teaching you to post 5,000 times a day in spam, there's your sign. If your uplines are not teaching you exactly what they did to get to the top, there's your sign. If your uplines are teaching you to fake it till you make it to bring people on board, there's your sign. And again, just a note on that, if they're telling you to fake it till you make it, they often do this by saying like, oh, just tell people you're making more money than you are and then you'll get people on board and blah. Chances are they're doing it as well. And the people above them are doing it as well. And the people above them are doing it as well. And no one's actually making all that much money. If your uplines are teaching you to follow up every single week for months, even when people aren't responding until they block you, there's your sign. If every month end you're pushing people to buy your products or buying from yourself just to maintain or promote, there's your sign. If you're having to replace customers faster than you're obtaining them, there's your sign. If your new team members are leaving after 30 to 90 days, there's your sign. And if you're losing bonuses, there's your sign. And finally, if your uplines are teaching you to shell out hundreds and thousands of dollars to obtain or sustain a rank, there's your dang sign. So yeah, there are also more signs you need to get out of an MLM, more signs to give it up, but they were just a few that I thought were quite good. And a nice little kind of telling story of some of the problems with MLMs and some of these signs that they're trying to suck your money out of you, take advantage of you, whatever. Yeah, so I thought this would be quite a fun little follow-up to that MLM video. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but just kind of, never got round to it and thought this would be a good time to, like I say, I'm trying to experiment with more different kinds of content and try new things, and I think I'm kind of having fun with it, and sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes people like it and sometimes they don't, and I don't know. I'm just kind of figuring things out and having fun at the minute. But yeah, tell me what you thought of this video. Tell me if you've had any experiences with MLMs, multi-level marketing, no matter what it is, and let me know your stories and what happened to you and if you got out of it, or if you know people who are still involved and so on, like please share your stories with me. And also just in general, I'd really like to hear your thoughts about kind of what kind of content you want to see from me and my channel in the future. And do you want me to stick with the atheism stuff, or do you like it when I branch out to other things? Because I'm really enjoying doing some of the business content like this. I'm really enjoying doing some of the history stuff, the science stuff, like bits of everything. But yeah, I don't know. I just like your feedback, please. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And you can see lots more content from me because I make videos all the time. I just don't shut up. I just keep talking. And also go follow me on Instagram at Rachel Oates with a 0, not an O, because I'm annoying, where I promise not to sell you any MLM products. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon. Huge thank you to everyone supporting me on Patreon this month, with a special thank you going to Data Jack, Trae Sprowles, Gambit and Chauffeur, Liv's Pantyhose Addiction, Mark Dauner, Christian Berg, Nathalie Romer, Simon Lundh, Jadeon Sheppard, Robert Korte, Peter Kyrouac, Sir Michael Moore, Christina the Atheist, Sage Villarreal and Loren Hart. You guys and everyone supporting me on Patreon are absolutely amazing, and I couldn't do this without you, so thank you so much. And remember, if you are supporting me on Patreon, you can get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can come join in the conversation. So hopefully I'll see you guys over there. And thank you all so much.